everybody? It's your boy Big O 06. I got my boy JB the Boss with me. We coming right at y'all from the Victory Lap Sports Podcast, talking about some NFL Week 2. A lot of good matchups, man. But first, we wanted to recap that Thursday night football game. Ended up being a good one at the end. Started out slow. So I'll jump right over to my boy JB. How you feeling about that one, man? Your boy Kirk Cousins went crazy. Dirty Curdy.
Kirk did. I definitely took him on the with the over yardage. I took him over touchdown passes. That all hit. They covered with Minnesota covered with the plus 6.5. Had Jordan Addison over yardage, but 5-legger just missed with the Jordan Addison. Did not get his fourth reception.
Those are the worst.
Missed by the half point, so I'm still a little bit of a salty taste in my mouth. But I'm gonna bounce back. But all betting aside, it was a week 2 good week 2 matchup. Another one for us for Thursday night. Sometimes them Thursday night games be a little shaky, but they did well with the first 2. But like I said, I liked Minnesota in the game. I thought they'd bounce back after a big week by Kirk Cousins against Tampa Bay. He put up them big numbers, but in a losing effort week 1, and he did it again on Thursday night against the Eagles. 364 yards, 4 touchdowns, loss. That's the only stat that matters is that win-loss. And
end of the day,
it don't matter. You throw for 2,000 yards in the first 2 games, but if you don't get a win, it ain't going to matter. But Kurt now has 708 yards and 6 touchdowns through week 2. But, week 2, 0-2, and that's the only thing that anyone's going to look at. They don't care what your yards are. But Kurt did answer the question about performing under the lights. Normally he don't do good. This week he did. He definitely put enough numbers up for a winning effort.
You hear those numbers,
it was in a losing effort.
You hear those type of numbers, you would automatically think they won.
Every single time. But, them 4 turnovers were just too much to overcome this week. Week 1, there's 3 turnovers, too much to overcome. This week, 4. Put that in perspective. Last year, the Vikings were 11-0 in one-possession football games. This year, they're 0-2 already. So definitely keep an eye on that moving forward. They're going to have to figure out a way to pull out them games if they're going to keep them close. But I mean, one positive for the Vikings is they showed the ability to fight back. They showed how resilient that team could be. But they have to take care of that ball. But unfortunately for them, in the next 5 weeks, they got the Chargers, the Niners, and the Chiefs. And, starting 0-2, that kind of puts you in that danger zone. I mean, you don't want to start this season 0-3 going against the Chargers next week, and that's a tough matchup for them. But if they don't pull it together,
sure.
They might be taking calls from the Jets for Kirk Cousins because I know they don't want to pay him, but they can, maybe dip him off, send him to the Jets. That's a little quick fun fact for you. I like that.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins heading to the Jets, that would be crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't, man. That man, Aaron Rodgers, come back, they better put his ass at QB2 or get him out of there.
But yeah, for the other team, the Eagles, I mean, Philadelphia showed their true colors 12 minutes into the game. Their fans, they were booing them. They were getting
shit, sometimes you need that, bro.
12 minutes in, the Eagles weren't doing shit. And but question for them, why didn't they give the ball to DeAndre Swift week 1? 1 carry, 0 yards. This week, after the second quarter started, he exploded. He had carried the ball 28 times for 175 yards and a touchdown.
Probably said something, bro.
Oh yeah, right. Last week, they had 97 yards on the ground against the Patriots. They barely got out of there. They got out of there with a turnovers is what won their game for them too. But yeah, 97 yards last week and 259 yards this week. That shows you Eagles better run that football. Definitely expose that interior defensive line in Minnesota. Even though the Eagles are undefeated right now, they're still looking stagnant. They look stagnant against the Patriots, and they just look stagnant against Minnesota. They're just not as crisp as we're used to seeing with them. But I mean, maybe they can get it together coming in. They got a weaker part of their schedule coming up. The meatier parts towards the end, so they got take full advantage of this week's schedule. They got Tampa Bay, Washington, the Rams, the Jets, the Dolphins coming up. I mean, there's a couple sticky games now. I think they should be able to work out their kinks and get it ready now before you start heading into the thing. But at the end of the day, they're headed to they're headed to down to Tampa to take down Baker Mayfield. They're 2-0.
Got you, man. So yeah, it's a 2-0. Definitely watched the game. I think we caught some of that on live together, man. It was pretty slow to begin with, man. But it's like as soon as we jumped off that call, man, things come right out. I think second half will open it right up, man. So Kirk Cousins started out slow. He was proving me right for a little bit there, but he got it together and ended up proving me wrong and finishing strong. Justin Jefferson, man, I thought he would be the top performer for sure. He came up just short. He was like neck and neck with Devontae Smith, but if I'm choosing, I'll go Devontae Smith. Just a little bit more effective. And just finish it all the way out, help this team right off into the sunset. Good numbers, kind of reminded me of back in the day with some Randy Moss type numbers. Just a flash. I ain't saying he's him, but definitely had him on an anytime touchdown. Got him at plus 170, real good number. So that was always good to hit that. I came up short, had him had Philly minus 6.5. Got a good push. And I definitely, like I said, I put that 6.5 because I thought Philly would, at least win by 1 or 2 touchdowns. And we were almost there, but them is a stinger, so you lick your wounds and get right back out there, man. So that's what we're doing today. And I figured, there wouldn't be too much defense, so I thought it was a safe bet to go ahead and take that over. So that ended up working out as well. But overall, good game. Philly 2-0. Both teams, even if I say 0-2, 2-0, both teams got some things to work on. They look quite frank. They look the same, honestly. Even if, like I said, but I wouldn't let the records tell too much. They look kind of the same. So I feel like one has a harder schedule, one has the easier schedule. I feel like they both figure things out and work the kinks out now. Man, if I was on either team, I would rather get this stuff out the way now. Just so whenever you're ready to get a few games in, games start to matter a little bit more, and you start making that playoff push. It would be such a pain to have things like this happening. So I hope each team figure things. Especially the Vikings, they figure some things out because they're 0-2, and they got some tough games coming up. So hopefully they could win all of them. Probably won't have them, but hopefully they could win a couple of them. But I think to them. Even more, I feel like that late push is really going to be a big deal because they're probably going probably end up being below 500 for at least the first half of the season. It's just a matter of how bad, you know what I'm saying? Philly, on the other hand, I think their schedule is probably a little bit easier. But I feel like they're the same, same thing, going through the same, like trying to figure the same amount of things out. I feel like they need to do that too because once they hit the strength in their schedule later in the season, and they'll be able to, they might as well with them, they'll get to the end and fold, so they might as well face a little bit of adversity, early on. But at the end of the day, I think Philly's going to be Philly. The Vikings are going to be the Vikings, but hopefully they get their stuff together and roll into the, second half of the season, to where things start to really matter. It starts to get a lot more spicy, if you know what I mean. So with that being said, we'll, fast forward, jump to, some games today. We'll start with that Chargers and the Titans game. Numbers may vary. So last I seen that, I was at minus 2.5 for the Chargers, minus 2.5, and the over under was about 45.5. Me personally, I like the number at 2.5. Yes, like I said, I like the number at 2.5. 3 might be pushing it a bit. All depending, maybe you catch 3 live once you start seeing how the game's going. But I like it. If it's 2.5, I definitely like it. I like that spread. But nevertheless, I think my lock is the Chargers just winning straight up. But I definitely think the game is going to be close. And I think 45.5, 46.5. I think it's going to go over. The last 2 games that these teams played each other, they were close games. I mean, like 3-point games. Which is why I was saying that with that minus 2.5. So 2 different teams. I think that the Chargers for sure are a lot better than the last 2 times these teams seen each other. So I think it's going to be lopsided. I think Chargers really have their way. They definitely went straight up. But maybe you catch it live and you see how things is going, and you get maybe take the Chargers on a number. Uh, but I think it's going under also. Just because like I said, I think it's going to be lopsided. I think it's going to be all Chargers on this one. Uh, so like I said, I'm gonna go Chargers straight up on the money line and under 45, 46 and a half. That's where I think that's playable too. Um, don't think there will be much to see here, JV. What you think?
Well, yeah. Last week, they played two different games. There was a Titans were involved in a low scoring game and tight, and Chargers were involved in the shootout and it was also tight. Both, like you said, needed a field goal to win. I think this week Titans are going to have to figure out how to get some pressure on Justin Herbert. I think they'll be able to do it.
Don't let him sit back there.
No, don't let him sit back there.
Run
I
it
mean,
up, man.
He'll be without Austin Eckler this week. So
That's
that could
huge.
be that's definitely huge.
Who's the backup there?
It's Joshua Kelly. I like Joshua Kelly. He had 91 yards and a touchdown last week. I mean, so he can
Probably
get it
be
going.
somewhere around there again.
Yeah, Eckler had 117 yards with 47 yards on the receiving side. So he definitely going to be missed, but I think this gives Herbert the opportunity just to completely cook. Derek Carr had 306 passing yards against the Titans in week 1, and they were shaky last year, and it looks like they were shaky last week as well. I think Herbert, he had 228 yards and a touchdown last week. I think he's going to definitely bump them numbers up big time.
At least 2 of them things.
Even without, yeah, right. Definitely. He's definitely going to, I think 3 touchdowns is a safe bet for him. Titans last, even with Eckler, they only gave up Titans only gave up 69 yards last week on 27 rushes. They got to the quarterback 3 times, so they're a little stingy on the rushing game, and they're gonna blitz the quarterback for sure. They're gonna have to, because if not, Herbert's gonna sit back there and he's gonna eat. I think Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are going to have big games. I think they're both going over 100 yards this week.
Yeah, Mike Williams, he got to shake back. I'm good with him shaking back this week because I ain't playing him in fantasy. So go ahead and let it get it out of there, man. Do your thing.
Yeah, right. Well, they almost, Saints almost had 2 receivers with 100 yards last week. Olave went over 100 with 112, and Rashid Shaheed almost went over with 89 yards. So I think Justin Herbert should be able to, have his way with that Titans secondary this week, and I think Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are both going over 100 yards. But on the other side of the ball, Ryan Tannehill had a bad week 1. He threw 3 picks. He had 198 yards, but couldn't even clear 30 at the passer rating. He was 28.8. I mean, they give you that. They give you a 20.28.
They get that, huh? You suit up, you get that.
you show up to the stadium on Sunday, you get that passer rating automatically, and he just didn't look good. But I mean, good news for him. Tua was able to have his way with the Chargers defense. He had 466 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, 2 touchdowns, 215 yards. I mean, so this could and another good thing for Tannehill. Tua gave him 45 chances to sack him because he threw the ball 45 times, and the Chargers could not come away with 1 sack. So that's good news for Tannehill. So with the passing game against the Chargers, maybe we could have a DeAndre Hopkins sightings. He only had seven grabs on 10 targets, or on 12 targets, with 65 yards in week 1.
I hope it works out for him, man.
But I still think you can't rely on that passing game. I think what you want to feed the king in this situation. He only had 15 carries last week, so they have to feed Derrick Henry this week.
Bring him back to life, man. I feel like his run is like fizzling down.
Yeah, you can see it. They got that rookie. They got the rookie waiting behind them, but Derrick Henry needs fed this week. Where he's still there. He's still ready to eat.
Yeah, man. If he's healthy, give that man a ball.
Feed him the ball. Keep the Justin Herbert and that offense off of the field, or it's going to be trouble. They got to definitely keep them off the field as much as they can to win this one. But I don't think they're going to be able to handle that high-powered offense. I take the Chargers -3, and I'm taking the over 45.5. My score prediction, 31-16 Chargers. And then my bold prediction for the game, it's going to be Mike Williams and Keenan Allen both over 100 yards
Yeah.
receiving.
Yeah. I got a feeling if I end up missing that under, man, it'll be by probably like a point or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We'll roll right into the that Jets and the Jags, and it's the Chiefs and the Jags game. So last time I checked those numbers, it was at KC, the Chiefs at -3, and the over under was 51.5. So I say I'm thinking, Kate, I was talking to you about this. I know you thinking KC, you think you going they going down today, man. I honestly think KC shakes back. I got the KC at -3. And I'm definitely going to consider going to over 51.5. I think that number's high, but it was the same as last week. I think if worst come to worst, I might catch it live and see if I can get it at a lower number, depending on how things are going. But I definitely got, like I said, KC -3. And I might live bet that total to kind of get a feel for seeing how things is going. But I think that -3 is too low. And then bold predict. I don't even want to call it a bold prediction. I think just like a little sneaky pick. Maybe they know something that I don't. But Kadarius Toney, I'm going with his reception yards over under 27.5. I'm going over. I think, man, and I think Kelsey's coming back this week too. Even without him doing anything, I think him just being out there, is enough. And it's going to make the questionable one's job like easier all around. So I think he gets that that 27.5 easily, just from being out there. And I don't think he's gonna have them butterfingers this week, man. I think he shakes back. There's kind of a reality check. You got to tighten up. So I think he shakes back this week. So just to recap, I got my best bets. I would say for this one are the Chiefs -3, and I'm going Kadarius Toney over 27.5 yards. If that's still the number. I'll be placing that shortly, and depending on where that is, I'll go up or down on that a couple points. How you feeling about this one, JB?
I like this one. This is definitely my game of the week. We got
game of the week.
Game of the week for sure. I'd say I think this is going to be not just my game of the week, but this is going to be probably has to be the game of the week.
Yeah.
Jaguars 1-0, Kansas City 0-1. Mahomes in that opener, I mean, he did what he could, but it just, wasn't enough. They didn't have enough guys with him. It just seemed like it was just Mahomes out there. 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick on the Kadarius Toney tip.
Needed some help out there, man.
Pick 6. So, I mean, Mahomes don't throw a lot of pick 6s like that. It wasn't his fault, but, I mean, it still hangs on his head now because that's his stat. That's his stat, not Toney's. And, he led the team in rushing yards, 45 yards. Pacheco and Edwards-Helaire only with 22 and 23. He shouldn't be leading the team in rushing. But unfortunately, he couldn't play receiver too, because he would have led. If he could receive too, he would have the probably leading receiving yards in the game too. No receiver in Kansas City went over 50 yards. Like you said, Kadarius Toney 1 yard with 1 catch, and he had 3 drops.
Man of the hour, bro.
Man of the hour. Too many drops. Everyone's talking about him dropping. I mean, Valdez-Scantling at 48 yards. Justin Watson 45 yards. But they threw to 11 different targets, and just looked like they didn't know where to go with the ball.
Needed some help.
They did without Kelsey there. You were seeing what it was looking like without Kelsey.
No true like wide receiver 1, man. It's a wake up call. It's going to be a collective effort. They got to tighten up, man.
They're not asking you to be a Tyreek Hill, but at least be a Juju. Juju at least gave them 78 catches last year. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They just don't have that. It's lacking. Someone's going to have to step up. And, I hope it's Kadarius Toney, or Valdez-Scantling,
Yeah. I feel like
Travis Kelce,
just the plays that he ran, like when he was getting his targets, to me, it just seemed like he was probably going to be, at least I would say probably the first option. Well, second option with Kelsey back, But it looked like he'll probably get a fair amount of targets, before, they, I guess, kind of go somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't know how long they're going to stick with him, but hopefully
Oh yeah, this is
hopefully
this
they
is
don't give up
this is
on him.
granted he catches the ball though. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
right. Throw it to him all you want. I mean, you can, bring a horse to water, but if it
Bro,
don't drink, it
hey,
don't
bro, he
drink.
do that shit again, bro. He either gonna be on that practice team or off the team. One of them
Yeah,
two, bro. So you better get it together.
yeah, but yeah, but Mahomes didn't get sacked, but it didn't mean that he wasn't running for his life because I mean the Mahomes
He's a
magic
runner. He's
was
a track star.
he was running for his life. Aiden Hutchinson was giving Jawan Taylor the business on that line. I mean, they were even
Bad,
questioning
bad.
after the game if Jawan Taylor was even lined up in the right spot. I mean, so they're gonna be in the ref's
Spotlight for
ears
sure.
early this game. They're gonna say, hey, watch this guy you watch that Jawan Taylor on the left here. He's starting early and he's lined up in the wrong spot, but he's gonna have his hands full with Josh Allen blitzing him this week. Last week, the Jags had four sacks as a team, and Josh Allen had three of them. He had 3 sacks, 2 QB hits, and 10 tackles. That offensive line is going to have to show up, or Mahomes he's going to be running still, but Josh Allen's going to catch him. And but like we were talking about Kelsey, that could be bad news for Kelsey coming back for the Jaguars because they 2 games last year, 20 catches, 179 yards, and 3 touchdowns in 2 games against the
Free
Jaguars.
bands.
That could smell some trouble.
Free
Um,
bands.
right. Also, Chris Jones is coming back this week.
They need him.
Got some money.
I'll be curious to see if I'll be curious to see if he makes an impact like everyone thinks he's going to make because
Yeah, I mean,
last week they looked bad, bro.
I don't even know if he'll be full. You don't practice football for a little while. You're gonna have a little bit of rust, but I mean, Chris Jones is a different breed. I think he's gonna make a decent impact. I mean, they wasn't bad against the Lions last week. I mean, Montgomery was 3.5 yards a carry, but I mean Gibbs was
Gibbs had
6.6
his
yards
way.
a carry, and I think ETN this week is more like Gibbs, and
Yeah, boy.
they're gonna have somebody doing something on that defensive line with ETN and Bigsby at them. They both had a touchdown last week, so you got to watch for that. But for Trevor Lawrence, he had similar numbers to Patrick Mahomes, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked twice. The sack that led to that that weird one. He sack, fumble. Bigsby picked it up. Bigsby fumbled, and then Buckner ran it in for a touchdown for the Colts.
Fumble Rooski.
Fumble Rooski was the word there for sure. And but I could just chalk that up as a little bit of week 1 jitters. But
For sure.
who didn't have jitters was Calvin Ridley. Big day, 8 catches, 101 yards, and a touchdown.
You've been telling me about him.
Yeah, I targeted him in fantasy, but I didn't land him. So someone else is eating off of that. But I think he could lead the league. I mean, Trevor Lawrence. I feel like Trevor Lawrence could be MVP this year. That'd be my. I like Trevor Lawrence this year. Especially with Calvin Ridley at his disposal. But just like the Chiefs, the Jaguars have a little issue on offensive line. Rookie Antoine Harrison, 71% pass block win rate in week 1. That was the 4th worst among all tackles. They're gonna have to get it together. The Chiefs are gonna be chasing Trevor Lawrence around back there. But like you said, I did tell you at the beginning of the season, I like the Chiefs starting this season 0-2, and I'm sticking with it. I like the Jags to win this one outright. The Jags are 5-0 outright under Doug Peterson whenever they're home underdog. So I think that's going to go to 6-0 this week. Give me the Jags on the money line, and I'll take the over 51.5. I like the Jaguars 37 and the Chiefs 31.
Yeah, I definitely like the over. I'm just a little back-to-back weeks would have been the same number, man. 50, I don't know, 51 is a high number, but I feel like I said, if any, like both, I feel like it's just gonna be a shootout,
There's gonna be some touchdowns scored.
Yeah, for sure. So that's where we are for the game of the week on that, and then we'll jump down to we got the Texans and the Colts. So this one number on this one as of a little while ago was -1, and the over under was 39.5. So I feel like that -1. I mean, you could take it if you want, but at that point in my eyes, like I feel like you might be better, depending on where the numbers are as far as the odds. You might be better on the money line. Might even you catch it at the right time, might get some plus money. The So with that said, I'm going Colts on the money line. And then on top of that, I think Anthony Richardson, he pretty much just keeps riding his high horse into this week. I think he had a nice game on the ground last week, correct?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so I think he pretty much
he
just
led
rolled.
he led he led their team 40 yards.
You know what I'm saying? So like I think he pretty much just same thing this week. And with that being said, I think it would be good to if the numbers are good enough, you get him on a anytime touchdown. Um, so like I said, yeah, I got Richardson on the anytime touchdown. If you want some, if you're messing with the books, and I got the Colts on the money line. That over under, it's 39.5. Uh, I don't even want. You see, y'all see how I'm hesitant on it. I think it's a trap, so I'm definitely going to stay away from that. How you feeling about it, JV?
I'm excited about this game. Biggest story: C.J. Stroud versus Anthony Richardson.
Young
Both
Bulls,
losing their NFL debut.
Young Bulls.
Both in to eat their first W this week. Hopefully, barring a tie, someone's getting it. Someone's leaving Sunday with that W.
Yep, bragging rights.
Yeah, they had similar numbers on the week. Stroud and Richardson. Richardson. I'm really anxious to see what they would look like with Jonathan Taylor in the backfield with Richardson. Richardson
should not be the chains, man. I got him on fantasy. I'm just waiting, hoping they figure some shit out, bro.
I hope so, or let them eat somewhere else if you're not gonna.
Man. Seriously,
they definitely.
Speaking for
Deion Jackson definitely made Jonathan Taylor's demands look affordable and very reasonable. I mean, 11 carries, 38 yards, and lost 2 fumbles. Rookie quarterback shouldn't be leading your team in rushing yards, especially in his NFL debut. He had a touchdown pass and a rushing touchdown. They tried to put a lot of work on him. That's why they drafted him as high as they did. But I mean, you're missing Jonathan Taylor big time in that backfield. And I think he could do it again. I think he's going to lead the team again in rushing yards, Richardson, just because, Lamar had 38 yards against the Texans last week. I think Richardson is going to have to run around too, but yeah, he's going to be running. He's going to be running somewhere because Will Anderson's coming after him.
Hey man, hopefully at least into the end zone, at least one time, man. So
yeah, their offensive line is going to have to do a lot better than he did against Jacksonville because, like I said, Will Anderson is in his debut. He had a sack. He sacked Lamar Jackson in his debut, and they actually sacked Lamar 4 times, and that's never an easy task to do. So I think DeMeco Ryans is definitely going to send some different pressures some NFL pressures at Anthony Richardson, if you will. But Will Anderson will get to him. But yeah, Stroud on the other hand, he looked good. I mean, he didn't have no picks, didn't have no touchdowns, but he held on today. He fumbled the ball once, but for the most part, he played pretty mistake-free football. He was sacked 5 times, so offensive line didn't make it easy for him. I think one of their offensive linemen are actually out today, so it could be a little bit more sacks coming at them. But yeah, he passed the ball 44 times, and I don't understand. I mean, I understand they were down in the game, but when you have a running back like Damian Harrison, I don't think you should be passing the ball 44 times. But yeah, as far as the game pick goes for this one, I feel like it's whatever team makes the least amount of mistakes.
Right.
It's basically a coin flip for me. But I like give me Anthony Richardson. Just probably stick with them on the money line, and I'm gonna go with the under 39.5. I'm gonna keep it under. I'm gonna stay 20-17, 20-13 type game.
Right.
What do you feel about? You think Stroud's gonna get his first touchdown pass this week?
Oh yeah, no question. Yeah, I think he'll get it.
Yeah, yep. I think probably maybe Collins. Collins seemed like one of his favorite receivers right now.
Is that Nico Collins?
Yes.
Yeah. Now that's a good target. I know the quarterback before him. I can't remember who it was, but he was targeting him a lot too. So he seems like he might be like the go-to person.
Yeah, he's
for my fantasy folks. definitely maybe S.A. Collins, there might be some value there because he'll be getting a lot of targets. I think it's been that way for like I say late last year going into this year. So to answer your question, I definitely think he gets his first touchdown pass this week.
Okay.
But with that being said, we're gonna keep rolling, keep things moving along. We're gonna jump into the Dolphins versus Pats game. So how I'm feeling, I think really Miami is really going to run it up. That number is 2.5, and the over under is what, like 46.5, depending on the time that you catch it and yada yada yada. But yeah, man, my pick for the game is I think Miami wins by way more than 2.5. But at the same time, I think it'll be lopsided. I think it goes under 46.5. But I do think, and if I miss this under, I think it's going to be by, like probably like 2 points. I think Mac Jones, definitely, I think this is my warning. So once he keeps snapping from here, you heard it here first at Victory Lap Sports Podcast, man. I think he's coming into his way, and the way he has a lot of good momentum. He had a good game last week. I think it rolls into this week. I just think it's going to be lopsided. I think the Dolphins, really go crazy. And I think they, like I said, I think they come out on top. And Mac and the Pats, they come up short. How you feeling, JB?
Yeah, I mean, both quarterbacks had really good games last week. Jones 300 yards, and Tua, we already talked about him, 466 yards on the Chargers. I don't think he'll do exactly that against the Patriots. You still got Bill Belichick there,
Yes, sir.
one of the best coaches we ever will see in our lifetimes for sure.
Whether you like it or not, man.
I don't got to tell you. I don't got to remind everybody of that. Last time the Patriots started 0-2 was in 2001, and they won the Super Bowl that year. But I'm not saying they're gonna. I am not saying they're gonna win a Super Bowl this year, but I am saying
don't count them out. Nevertheless,
I'm saying they're starting 0-2 for sure. Mac Jones last week he had to do what he had to do. They only had 67 yards on the ground. So, they had to pass that ball. I just don't think it's going to be too much. It's going to be too much for the Patriots to stop this fast Dolphins team. So I'm going to go my pick for this game. That over and under, it's like I said, it's a sticky over and under, like you said. But I'm going to take it. I'm going to say the Dolphins -3, and I'm going to say 27-20.
Let's get it. So you think I missed that jump by 1 point, huh?
I think so. I think I'm gonna stay on the other side of that half point this week. I'm gonna win by a half point instead of
There we go. Oh yeah, we'll see what happens, man. We'll keep rolling along. What you think about that Jets and Dallas game? That number was -9.5, and the over under was 38.5, depending on when you catch it.
Well, I think that I don't think that number would be -9.5 if they had Aaron Rodgers coming into the game. But Zach Wilson, you got to add a couple points onto that every week just because it's Zach Wilson out there. Just for me, it's two really good defenses. But I just don't see Wilson really getting that much done against the Cowboys. Breece Hall is questionable tonight. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, especially in fantasy.
Big alert.
Yeah, keep an eye on that. I mean, I don't think they got Dalvin Cook, and Dalvin Cook looked like he's still able to run. So I don't think they're gonna push Breece Hall into the equation if they can't, just because of that injury last year. Cowboys don't have Brandon Cooks. I mean, he wasn't really that much of a factor. But I mean, if you told me that the Cowboys won 40-0 last week, I would have told you.
I was weird, bro.
Dak had to have it. Dak threw 3 touchdown passes.
Remember, we was having we was getting
143.
We was getting things up and running. I was telling you, Dak Wilson. I was recommend people sitting.
Yeah.
I don't think he ended up being right. I mean, they won, but you hear 40-0, you think would be,
right.
Kirk Cousins numbers.
But yeah, Dak 40-0 win, and he didn't have a touchdown pass, and that's just surprising, 40-0. But I mean, this ain't the New York Giants that they're versing this week. It's the New York Jets, and that defense is a big difference. I like to keep this game. I still like that Jets defense gives you a chance to win every game. It don't matter
Yeah.
who's at quarterback. That Jets defense is the real deal. But same with the Cowboys. But this week, that 9.5 is a big number for me. I'd say that the Cowboys probably will win this game by 10. I'm going to say 37-24. That would be my pick for this game. We're going to keep it up. We'll keep the over. We're going to keep the over ball rolling. We'll keep the Dallas minus 9.5. But I like Micah Parsons with 3 sacks this week on Zach Wilson.
Yeah, man. And jumping to my perspective, man. Like I said, I think that 9.5. I'm staying away from it. I don't know. I get the circumstances, but that number is just too big for me. So I think Dallas definitely wins the game. And I think it definitely goes over too. Just seeing that, I think, like I said, I think it'll be lopsided to the point where Dallas just has their way. Maybe I don't want to say another 40-0 game, but I think it's going to be that big of a difference. But I think it barely goes over that 38.5. So I say I'll probably stay away from the 38.5, but I think Dallas wins the game. I probably won't even bet neither of those. But that's just my pick. I'm going my only I say my best bet for this pick is I'm thinking the first score is going to be a field goal. So I think one team drives down, and then they just can't get in that end zone and they end up kicking a field goal, man. So I think the first score is going to be a field goal on either side.
Okay.
But
It'll be a whole different game with Aaron Rodgers coming in.
Yep. And so as I was about to say, bro, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, I know we were wanting to cover some of that injury, just give y'all like an update and insights on that. So I read today his surgery was a success. So now he's on the road to recovering and doing a rehab. So I think as far as the Jets and what's next, I think the season will be tough, and I think it'll probably be just like the previous Jet seasons that we're used to seeing. I think they'll be mediocre, and they'll either barely make the playoffs or just miss, and I think the like unless the defense, well, and really I'll say the defense is really going to come. They know how they're going to come, as far as the Jets. But I think the offense is going to have to accommodate the defense. With some points and some firepower, it's going to be a very tough season for them again. Because this is like kind of like the same story over and over and over. So I think this whole situation with Aaron Rodgers kind of helped accelerate Zach Wilson's maturity and different things like that. So I'm not saying he's going to be crazy or nothing like that, but I definitely think he'll be better than he was last year. Just so for the fact that once Aaron Rodgers comes back, he's sitting it down. So I don't know how long he does he have like a couple years left on his contract, right?
Zach Wilson.
Yeah. I think
contract.
Yes, so I think
he got to get it going this year.
So I think this is the year where he has to, because really this is the opportunity too, because without this injury, like he would be riding that pan, he probably wouldn't even get the opportunity. So I feel like he really has to take advantage of this opportunity here and really show his stock, so he can get paid, somewhere else, so
100%.
Yeah, so I think that's probably his best route. Do good this year, get up out of there, and go somewhere where you'll really have some some value. Be able to have value, and it'll be your team. Because let's be real, this is his team now. But once Rodgers comes back, we know we know what it is. So from a QB perspective, I think they might as well just with all that being said, let Zach Wilson fly. Until Aaron Rodgers comes back. And then, just hope that they don't got to rely on the QB2, Tim Boyle, man. So as far as future plans, man, it's a tough situation, and I'll say it's tough as far as bringing another QB in, so I think it's it's a tough situation, and they need to be mindful on who they bring in because it could be this like really disastrous and destroy the team's chemistry. So um,
For sure.
hopefully they don't have to worry about any of that, and they can just bring in like a mediocre QB3 and just let you know see what Zach Wilson can do for him, man. But how you feeling about the Aaron Rodgers injury?
Horrible. That's watching him come in carrying that American flag, and then
40 seconds
getting in there,
later.
getting in there for 2 minutes later.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, he carried that flag out. Big spectacle weekend, September 11th, and 4 plays in, and he's down, and you could just see it on his face. He's like, "Oh shit!" And
Felt it.
It's right now for the Jets. I feel like this is Zach Wilson's job to lose. I feel like they need another veteran in there just in case something happens to Wilson. But Zach Wilson, he was drafted, second overall pick for a reason. He got the practice behind Aaron Rodgers. He was probably hoping on playing behind Aaron Rodgers a few more weeks. I don't think he was expecting to come in and, first game of or first series of the season. That was not in Zach Wilson's plans, but right now Zach Wilson's going to have to wake up and show them that something, because that those Jets fans, they don't let you fail too long. And I mean, he was a 5-4 starter last year. They dealt with that last year. They're not going to try to deal with that this year. He's going to have to try to make his money. I mean,
Sure.
I can see them bringing in like a Chad Henne or a Colt McCoy, something like that, just to kind of sit on the bench behind him.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier in the show, Vikings lose another game. They're gonna hopefully, get Cousins out of there. Wheel and deal my boy Cousins over to the Jets. Figure out that price somewhere. At the end of the day, I don't think they can really afford that. But I don't see them trading for anybody. I see them bringing in a veteran like Chad Henne. That's what I think. I think I don't. They're a Super Bowl contender with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that they're gonna that really puts a damper on their Super Bowl chances this year. But with Rodgers going down, and they did say he could be ready for the playoffs, but that would be a real kick in the face if Zach Wilson is able to get them to the playoffs and they say, "Hey, Aaron, you're back in."
That would just be that wouldn't even be that wouldn't that's it, bro. That would really say a lot about management, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how Zach Wilson's season shakes out here, but I guess
just let him have at it, bro, because those no one's anybody, bro, from any sport that's had that type of injury, bro. It's just going to take. They might as well do better luck next season, man.
They got Dallas, the Patriots, the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Eagles coming up on their schedule. So that's Zach Wilson, you better go out there and do something. That's a lot of ass coming at you. You know what I mean? And even the Patriots, that's a tough go in the division.
Yes, sir.
So, he had to do something soon, and it's going to have to start with the Cowboys. But I think the Cowboys get out of there with that win on them. But it's unfortunate for the Jets. But that Jets defense, like I said, they keep you in a lot of games. So
yep,
that's what's going to have to happen. That Jets defense is something. They had a lot of weapons too. So
yep.
Zach Wilson got all Aaron Rodgers' weapons at his disposal. So we'll guess we'll have to see how that shakes out. But they're gonna show us something tonight against the Cowboys. They're gonna have to show everybody where to see we can answer the future of the Jets after this Cowboys game a little bit better than we can right now.
Good reality check.
Yes, it will be.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Micah Parsons is gonna be. He's gonna get to know Micah Parsons very well tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
He is. He's gonna know Micah Parsons' mother's name and everything tonight because they're gonna be close.
Talking crazy. But yeah, man.
But, let's maybe move on to our fantasy predictions for the week before we get up out of here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we got fantasy. So fantasy, I went with this week I'm going with my top two. It was hard for me to get a top three. I usually come out y'all with three, but top two, I got a sleeper. So my sleeper is if y'all been watching the show with us, not hard to tell, but I'm going with Mac Jones. I I think at this point, starting to become, like I say, like a legitimate option, at least from a fantasy perspective. Last week, I think he had like 300 plus yards, along with multiple touchdowns. So I don't know if he'll have a game like that again, but I do think he'll play pretty decent against the Dolphins. But definitely, like I said, for now, I definitely think he's a sleeper and he's turning into a legitimate fantasy option. And if you're gonna struggle as far as QBs, you need a lifeline. I say maybe give him a chance. At least test him out. For a couple weeks and see how he goes. And I'll jump over to someone. I would say it would be a sitter. I'm going to say Treylon Burks. So I think we got Hopkins coming back. I think it's kind of not so good for him because I think at that point he turns into like a wide receiver 3. So he'll get reps, but not like last year. This was the guy. He was supposed to be the one. Get most of a lot of the reps, I should say. So I think he'll definitely get his reps, but especially more if Hopkins is there's injury and there's the delay with that. But for the most part, I would sit him until you kind of get a more clear picture on what's going on because until we do, he's probably going to be like a wide receiver 3 at best.
So you're saying hit him?
Yeah, I'm saying Treylon Burks, sit him down. At least till you get a more clear picture of what's going there. I don't think last week. He didn't do too much.
Tannehill had a really bad game. So
yeah, so I think Tannehill he'll have a better game. But I think like I said, probably wide receiver 3 at best. So until you get it more of a clear picture, maybe sitting down or even see if there's someone else out there that you could pick up. How you feeling, JV, as far as the stardom and sit-ems this week?
First I'll start with my my sit of the week. That'd be Khalil Herbert. That Tampa Bay defense is pretty stout there against the run. Definitely sit down Khalil Herbert. I thought he was going to have a better game last week. He didn't really account for what I thought he was going to account for this week. So definitely sit down Khalil Herbert. As far as the start goes, I'm staying in the same game you're at with your sit. I'm going to go with the opposite wide receiver. I'm going to go Mike Williams on the Chargers. I think he's going to wake up this week and already said 100 yards. He's going over this week. I'm going to say must start. He's going to have over 100 yards and a touchdown in this game.
He could do what he want this week. I ain't playing him. So more pride to you, bro. Go crazy.
Right.
Last week's performance last week was right on time for me.
Right. And then a sleeper I like this week is Jordan Love. We're gonna go Jordan Love at quarterback.
I seen that. I was torn between him and Mac Jones, honestly.
Yeah, Mac Jones and Mac Jones. I mean, I like Mac against the Dolphins for sure, but Jordan Love's my sleeper this week
against
the Falcons. The Falcons defense, they're gonna have to throw it. AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones are gonna, they'll pound the ball like they do, but I like Jordan Love this week.
No, I can dig it. So there we have it, man. A couple stardoms, couple sit-ems from Big 06 and JV the Boss. We got our bounce back picks as well. Bounce back pick of the week. So I'll start it off. You see the background. You see the jersey, man. Pittsburgh hometown. Last week was horrendous, man. I don't know what happened. So hopefully we got all that out the way. I'm going my team. My bounce back team is the home team, Steelers, man. I think they shake back this week. I'm hoping they shake back because don't want to go 0-2, especially to the Cleveland Browns, man. Because Cleveland Browns, they're going to bring the pain. This is their Super Bowl, man. So I just hope we started off the right. This one the right way and take care of business because we don't need any of that slander, man. It's only week 2, And then my bounce back player, I'm going as I stated in earlier in the show, I'm going with Kadarius Toney. I don't think he I think he has a lot better game this week. Got the jitters out, stuff like that. I think he has, like I said, has a lot better game. He kind of shows up, and I say he doesn't drop as much as he did. He comes through for Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, those are my team, my players, so the bounce back pick. So we'll see what happens there. We'll be coming back at y'all, um, with another show because we got the Monday night game. So we're gonna hold it down for the home team, and cover that game as well. Cover the Steelers every week. But how you feeling, man? Who's your bounce back pick of the week?
Bounce back pick of the week for the team wise. I like the New York Giants shaking it back against the Arizona Cardinals this week. 40-0 to the Cowboys. Got straight embarrassed on prime time, and they're gonna have to do something this week. And I think they're the perfect team to bounce back. I think they'll get that win in Arizona. They should get it easily. But Arizona impressed me last week a little bit on the defensive
Put
side.
16 on the board.
We'll see what they do. Not even the offense. The defense looked a little bit better to me than I thought they would be. And for my bounce back player of the week, I'm gonna have to go with Daniel Jones. He's, I'm gonna keep it in the same game. He's gonna have to show why he got paid, and I think he's a good opportunity to get back on his feet and do it this week against the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, why not on the Cardinals, man? Punch on.
Do it this week because you're going to San Francisco next week, and I don't like you bouncing back. I don't like you bouncing back from 0-2 if you have to go to San Francisco.
Yeah, you might as well chalk that as a 0-3 unless a fucking miracle happens.
Do it this week and
roll in next week with that momentum. I agree.
Yes, that's the only way you're going into San Francisco for that. That's going to be a tough one for you, but don't go there 0-2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, yep, we bounce back picks of the week, and then we also want to introduce y'all to just to say, we'll pretty much end it like every show with this. We're going to call it the Victory Lap segment. As it sounds. This is the segment where you want to stick around to end of the video. Because we give y'all our we'll call them like our best picks, lock picks for the week, man. This is the best part of the show, man. This is where we all gonna win some money, man. So, how you feeling? What you got on the Victory Lap segment for the week, man? Who's your best picks for the week?
Well, like I told you already, my fantasy pick, I'm going to keep it with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, both going over 100 yards this week. That's just a given for me. And I got a little four leg parlay action for you this week. I like the Giants -4.5. I like the Jaguars on that money line. I like Cincinnati Bengals also bouncing back against the Ravens. -3.5, I'll take them. And also take the Detroit Lions -4.5. That's a little four-legger I'm shooting out there. And the Bengals, the Ravens have a lot of injuries, so I like the Bengals in this one. T. Higgins is also my big start of the week.
I need him to shake back, man. He had I think he had donuts last week, bro. He didn't get me a thing. It might have been like 1 or 2, 1 point, maybe 2 points, but bro, we'll call that a donut, bro. Like, man, I hope he shake back this week for fantasy sake.
I hope so too. What you thinking about your take your victory lap, brother?
Got you. So my victory lap is, man, I'm going, and whether I'll probably do singles, but if you want to, I think all of these are going ahead. I'm pretty confident in them. So if you want to, parlay it up, do your thing, But I'm going Chargers on the money line. I'm going Kadarius Toney over 27.5 yards easily. Hopefully I don't eat those words, man. And then I'm jumping down to that Kansas City game, and I'm going Kansas City -3. So, you can single it out, or you could parlay it up, man. Totally up to y'all. But that's what we got for y'all this week. As far as Sunday Night Football, we'll be back for the Monday night segment. Other than that, man, give us a follow on all social media platforms. You can find us at Victory Lap Sports. We'll tag the social medias down below. And other than that, we'll be back, man. Peace out.